Last fall, over in the side of our garden here by the creek, we prepared a bed for planting ground covers. And we had just very hard clay soil with some weeds growing in it. We showed you a method where you could just build a little berm of a garden without having to dig into the soil, especially if your soil's still very wet. We laid down, just directly flat on top of the ground, a very thick layer of newspaper, about a half-inch thick layer. And on top of that, we dumped compost and mulch and mixed it all together. And since then, as it's gone through the winter, the newspaper has decomposed. We have a nice weed-free plot to plant in, and we're going to plant ground covers in here. Now with ground covers, there are some very specific sites that certain ground covers are best suited for. We selected Vinca minor for this site. It's in semi-shade, and that's one plant that will do well in that situation. But you may have an area of your garden that is very hot and dry and very sunny, and something such as junipers or moneywort or something like that, or phlox might do better for that site. Very deep shade, Vinca minor would be good for that, or bishop's weed, or some other ground covers. So I want to go over a few of those with you today. Now if you're buying ground covers, you can buy them in two forms. These are in little 2-inch pots. They can run anywhere from 40 to 80 cents a piece, or you can buy them in 1-gallon containers and just take it out of the container, and you can take a knife or a spade and split this apart. A good sharp knife would probably do the best job, and you can probably get 5 or 6 starts from this container right here. So that's an economical way to go, although sometimes you find these on sale in the spring. Now, in determining how many plants you'll need to fill in an area, don't skimp. Measure the area that you have. For instance, if it's 100 square feet and the plants need to be spaced a foot apart, and it's a 10 by 10 area, then you'll need 100 plants. So that's a good way to know how many you'll need. Now I've spaced these vincas about 12 inches apart, and Ray's getting them planted, and the large container I'll split apart with a knife a little later and fill in this little wide area here. Now as we work down, as you plant ground covers, it's a good idea to start from the center of a large planting and work your way out. Now, OSU just finished publishing a new booklet on deciduous shrubs, vines, and ground covers. You can get this from your county extension office for 50 cents a copy, and it gives very detailed descriptions of the different ground covers that are available, which ones are good for sun or shade, and how far apart to plant them, and a handy chart on how many you'll need for a given area. So it's really handy. Do you have any favorite ground covers, Ray?
Well, I like the Vinca, of course, because of the nice glossy green color, and also the pretty blue flower that's in the spring and early summer on it. But also there's a lot of others because of the variegation in colors that we have, some of the variegated ones, and there's just some, I like a lot of them.
Yeah, they're all good. For a hot, dry area, you might remember the sedums. Hens and chickens are good. For a shady area to bring out the white, you might think about planting something like bishop's weed. Last of all, if you're planting Vinca, don't confuse these with periwinkles that we plant in the summertime. Madagascar periwinkles are a summer annual, and they will die back with frost. But with Vinca minor and also Vinca major, these are true periwinkles, and they'll live for years.
Although many of the annuals do work in well as a short time planting with the ground cover, right. So even these will work in well with the Vinca minor.
Sure, to help fill in an area. So think about planting ground covers in your garden this season.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge, both classic and contemporary.